You guys, I hope you're very well. I hope you're having a very nice day, a very nice start of the week. Today I thought I'd show you how I work these little micro projects. This is like a little mini or micro bonsai project, and this is a terrarium channel, but I thought, it goes very well with the theme. You can see here the containers that I'm going to be using. Yeah, these are very fun. I really like them. And for some reason people in general seem to like them as well. So this is a little mini bonsai pot that I bought a couple of weeks ago. I bought some plants, and by the way, if you haven't subscribed already, you can subscribe to my main channel, my bonsai channel. That's the first channel that I started. The link is down in the description box. But yeah, I bought a couple of plants for that channel, and I just had to buy this little mini or micro pot, however you want to call it. Yeah, and we're gonna plant something here. This you saw me use in the micro, how can we call that? The micro ecosystem, the salt water ecosystem. It was filled with little stones that my girlfriend's brother actually collected on a trip of his last vacation. Yeah, and I said I was going to use this for another project, so we're going to make a mini terrarium here, and this one is going to be a mini or micro Wallstad method planted aquarium. Yeah, so I think it's going to be quite interesting, and the updates for these are also very interesting, so I hope you like this video. So this is going to be taking center stage. I'm going to go like this, right, in this order. This is the first one, that's the second one, and this is the third one. And yeah, I'm gonna be pausing the video a lot because most of the steps you already know. So what I'm gonna do first with this is I'm gonna fill this up with soil, with substrate, and then with aquarium gravel, the hardscape, and then the plants, right? So let's go ahead and do that. Let me pause the video really quick and we can start. Okay, so here we can see like the base starting point with the nutrients at the bottom of the container, and then the aquarium gravel. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a couple of stones. By the way, I already sprayed a little bit of water so everything would settle down nice and easy. And yeah, here I have little stones that I'm going to use. They might be a bit too big for the whole thing because we got limited space, but I want this to look super planet. So yeah, this is I think the right size for this whole operation. And over here I've got the plants that I'm going to be using. Let me see if I can move this to the side. Over here I have this hair grass. This grows fairly big, but part of the whole thing with this little build is going to be maintenance. That the smaller a build it is, a bit more difficult to maintain because the water parameters change very, very rapidly. So we got hair grass, Eliocharis barbula, we got Rotala, the green version, Rotala, the red version, and 2 species of Bucephalandra. This is like the tiniest one, this micro Bucephalandra, and this is a smaller version. I don't know if it's the same species, but they're definitely different sizes. And like I said, if I see one of these species getting too big, what I'm going to do is come in and prune them, or just remove them and change them, exchange them for another specimen that's maybe better for this little build. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in and plant them. If you're wondering what that little bell is in the background, it's my cat playing around with a cat toy. So that's the explanation for that sound. So the longer plants like the Rotalas and the hairgrass will be in the background, whereas the Bucephalandras will be right front and center, right? So we got another Rotala green over here. And finally, I can see that this Bucephalandra is fairly big, you know, so I might have to prune it so that it fits better in the build. I'm not 100% sure. Let me see if it's got roots so that I can prune it. If not, you know what, I'm just gonna put it in like this, you know, this size. It's gonna be over here. And the other one, the tiniest one, to the right. These were growing in my shrimp fish bowl. So you can see that they're fairly clean because the little shrimps were cleaning them. Very, very good. So there they are. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to spray water so everything is settled. Yeah. And I'm going to pause the process there and continue with the next build. And at the end of the video, stick around and you'll see the whole thing filled with water. Yeah. So there we go. That's the first one. 1 out of 3. Yeah. So let's continue with the other one. So here we got build number 2. This is going to be super simple, you know, super simple. We're going to use a couple of the little stones that originally came with this container. We can see them here, but we're just going to add like a little layer of, you know, organic matter. In this case, you know, gardening soil, and we're just going to plant a little bit of moss in it. Yeah. So I'm going to make a mess, but no worries, because it's so little soil, so little organic matter that it's going to be no problem cleaning it up. There we go. I think we got enough by now. Let's see. Yeah, maybe a little bit more. A little bit more. That's enough. That's plenty. Yeah. Another thing that I'm going to do is that I'm going to try and remove some of the little fibers that we have here. This is organic matter that's going to eventually decompose. So we're just going to remove that. Yeah. That's it. Let me just clean this up and I'll see you in a bit. Okay, so here it is. And like I told you, I'm going to add just a couple little pebbles, you know, to the build. Maybe something a bit smaller. Like so. I'm going to add 3. And then distribute them. So that we have enough space for the moss to grow. That looks nice. And over here I have my little propagation station. In other words, my Ferrero box where I keep interesting moss species. Check it out. It's kind of cool. These are all moss species that came in plants that maybe I bought for my bonsai channel. Yeah. that came in the soil. So there are a couple of species that I want to use for this build. These little parasol ones that you've seen me use before, those look kind of interesting. This one would be like my first choice, but I don't know how well it would do in such a closed environment, you know. So who knows? Let me think about it, and then we'll add, you know, the final step, which is the moss. Yeah. So give me 1 second, and then we'll continue. So here we are. I decided to go ahead and use this. Oops. We can see it right here. You can see that the rhizoids are not very well developed for this little guy, but it's nice and green, it's nice and healthy, so I think it's going to be a nice addition to this little project. I have more of these, so in future projects you might see them being used. So let's go in. Oops. Put it over here in the back, like so. And I'm also going to use a little bit of this little parasol one. See if I can get it to focus. There it is. So that's, you know, being shorter, that could be used in the front side of the build, like so. And there's another one that's also very compact. This one over here. Terrible lighting. It's an overcast afternoon over here, so that's why I'm having trouble trying to focus. But yeah, that's another very cool looking species that I'm going to use right here at the front. Little mucking of the glass there, but it'll all trickle down when I water this. Let me add a little bit more. Let's see, what do we have here? Oh, this is a nice local species that we have here. I'm going to use it right next to the, this is a rather large chunk, so compact it a little bit and then like so. Yeah. Here we go. Looking good now. So let me just spray this with water. And that's pretty much all the water that I'm going to use. You know, one very common mistake that we make as beginners, enthusiasts for terrariums, is that we overwater. And that leads to a lot of mold, a lot of funny situations. So try to avoid that. Also, if you see that there's like an excess water, I'm going to cover this one with this little cork. But if you see that, you can, you know, just remove the cork for a couple of days, and yeah, you'll be good to go. Okay, so look, here we got number 2. Let's continue with number 3. So here we got the little plants that we're going to be using with the third project, which is the micro bonsai project. These are Cerisa plants. If you've seen my bonsai videos, you've seen that I've been working with this for maybe half a year now, 6 months, and these are cuttings. I have a larger one I took cuttings from, and you can see that they're doing very well. So I'm going to use this cutting in particular, and I'm going to plant it over here. Yeah. So the thing with bonsai trees is that you have to manage the roots. Yeah. So if you leave them to grow unchecked, the roots, you know, they don't grow in a way that's beneficial for a potted plant. So that's why you gotta manage the roots and also do some pruning on the top of the plant. so that I can grow in a nice looking way. Yeah. So here we go. That's plenty of substrate over there. And now I'm going to remove the little plant. I probably should pause the video to do that, but you can see here that it does have a root system. It's going to grow nice and healthy. So if I want this to produce more branches, what I can do is come in and cut over here. Yeah. And this is another cutting that we can take, you know. So we're going to use this portion of the plant. Okay. So I place it here. Yeah. And then I come in with my little organic soil and I pile a little bit more substrate on the one that I used as a base. Yeah. There we go. Now, maintenance after you transplant is also very important for bonsai trees. So make sure that if you make one of these, you keep it in a bright spot, but not direct sunlight. Yeah. Also, make sure that you don't overwater. You know. And of course, don't let it dry. So, as with many things, balance is key, right? We're getting philosophical over here. So there we are. You see how that water almost instantly disappears? That's good, because with bonsai trees, you really want plants to have a lot of drainage so that the roots can grow, and so you don't get funny business like root rot or dampening. Sorry, or damp off. Yeah. So there we go. A lot of people like to put some moss on top. That looks even better. But I'm a bit short on moss, so I'm just going to leave it like that. We can see that water has started to come out through the bottom holes, through the drainage holes. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And we got our third little micro bonsai project. Yeah. So let's take a look at what the three little projects look like once they're finished. Yeah. Let's go ahead and do that. And here we have them, all three finished. You can see that they look good. They look really cool. We got special notes for each and every one of them. For example, this one you can see that I added a couple of decorative stones, and something that you can do if you're afraid this is going to dry out is put it on top of another maybe another pot that you have, maybe another gardening plant. That way you won't forget about watering this as well. Also, when the roots eventually grow into the substrate, they will have more room to grow downwards into that other pot, so that it will continue to grow, and you'll be able to cut down, come in and prune, you know, give it the shape that you want. That's basically what bonsai is. This little guy, in fact, all three of them, they need very bright light. So if you keep them under an LED light or near a window, but remember, not under direct sunlight, that will be very good. And remember, these are very prone to having issues with a lot of humidity and excess of water. So just keep an eye on that. You can remove the cork so that it can, you know, have the perfect conditions for the moss to grow. And this little guy, same thing, you know, bright light. In the future, I intend to add a little snail so I can eat away all of the algae and the excess nutrients that the water column has. Yeah, this is way too small for a fish, so that's pretty much all that it's going to have. I'm going to come in and prune the little plants if I require to do so. But yeah, that's pretty much it. You see, here we got them all three lined up. They look really cool. I hope you liked this video. If you have any comments, doubts, anything, drop them down below. You can also subscribe to my bonsai channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Okay, bye.